Well, it was a weird week. I didn't know if we'd be talking about gold or playing some cards at this point, but today things seem to have calmed down, so I guess we can get back on track. All right, so let's talk about American Gold Eagles. Now, based on the feedback from the videos that I posted here so far, one thing's been pretty clear. American Gold Eagles, they're not the popular coins on YouTube, but I've covered this a few different times, a few different ways. I've mentioned that they're the most popular by production and sales. They're absolutely one of the most popular gold bullion coins in the world. I have mentioned the 1099B exemption that basically allows you to sell any number of these without an immediate tax form submission. And I've mentioned how easy they are to sell. Local coin shops always want Eagles more than any other coin, at least in the United States. That's the way it is. But people still seem to prefer 24 karat gold coins. And then on the extreme other side of the spectrum, I'm seeing recommendations popping up for old European and Mexican gold coins, 90% gold. And that's to save on premium. And there was a time I thought like that too, but they're very far down the list at this point for me based on how much easier it is to sell American Gold Eagles. Now, it's possible that I'm noticing these recommendations more right now because I just went out to buy a new coin and I'm shopping. I just kicked off my 2021 buying plan by grabbing a half-ounce American Gold Eagle. But I was looking in on a few other options. And the reason for that was that I wanted to pick one up locally. I was even open to picking up a full ounce if I could find one. But this week's events, they must have sent people rushing to the shops here because the inventory was pretty much cleaned out, at least the inventory that I would have been interested in. And no inventory locally means that I'm looking online, and then anytime that I have to buy online, well, I find myself looking at other options too. It's very easy to go from the popular coin that I can most easily resell to something like a swan from the Perth Mint. And that swan is a gorgeous coin, but it really has nothing to do with anything that I'm typically saying on this channel. It is, however, a 2020 coin that I'd like to pick up. And I'd like to pair it up against the Perth Mint Double Dragon. Now, pairing up coins, that probably sounds ridiculous. It has nothing to do with the 2-is-1 channel name. But I have two somewhat separate reasons for stacking gold. And I could divide out the gold that I have into these two separate camps. So that first camp is all the reasons that you hear me talk about. I started buying gold as a way to shore up a potential financial crash. And that could be widespread, that could just be personal. But as I got more and more, it grew to become a larger asset that could also help if an opportunity came up, like a real estate deal. So regardless of whether it's an emergency or an opportunity, I want the type of gold that's the easiest, fastest, and most flexible in the event of a sale. And in the United States, that's clearly the American Gold Eagle. There's just no question. And in my opinion, it's actually the 1-ounce American Gold Eagle, but that's based on the typical buyer that I'd go to, which just happens to be my local coin shops. And they deal the most in the 1-ounce gold coins. And if you're planning for the possible eventuality of a quick sale, then you not only want the most popular options, but you want them uniform. Ideally you want a tube of American Gold Eagles. That's ignoring, of course, any price objection. So that's simply the best choice, ignoring cost. Now, if you're like me and you hedge your hedges, then you might even have a 24 karat or a foreign option in there as well. And that's where my buffaloes come into play. And then probably to a lesser extent, that's also where my maple leafs come in. And this is really just a long way to say that the bulk of the coins that I've purchased, well, it's not random. I have more 1-ounce American Gold Eagles than anything else. And I have actual experience selling different types of gold that led me to that choice. Now, the second camp is the stuff that I buy that I truly don't plan to sell. This is the fun camp, right? The camp I didn't get to go to growing up. I went to the skills camps, the no mingling with the girls camps. So maybe this is me making up. And when you hear me saying that YouTube must be affecting my decisions a little bit, well, that's because I know these don't line up with the easy logic. They don't line up with my normal plans. So these are going to be the hot foreign coins and the commemoratives, the ones that I just happen to like and that I think my kids will like. So I always try to get them in even numbers. And I'll get something comparable to the Britannia. I'll get something comparable to this Double Dragon. And somehow that makes sense to me. And that's why I had a tug to buy that swan from the Perth Mint. Now, I didn't actually do it. I got a half ounce Gold Eagle, I'm trying to start off the new year with some consistency. So the last thing that I wanted to do was buy something other than my planned monthly purchase. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I would have grabbed a 1 ounce rather than a 1/2 ounce had it been available, but there just wasn't anything locally. Now, for anyone paying attention to my monthly plans this year, I also mentioned a scheduled allocation of $250 a month for Bitcoin, and I did set that up. But honestly, that's feeling a little underwhelming right now, and I did make a larger purchase there recently. I'm not going to go into that in any real depth in this video, but I thought it was worth mentioning that I did kick this year off with the plan that I explained at the end of 2020. Now, maybe you've heard this stat that most people give up on their New Year's resolutions in the first 2 weeks. And this isn't really a resolution, it's a habit that I already had in place more or less. But those repeatable efforts are important if you want to create a habit that you can stick to. So buying random stuff at random times is a really easy way to get off track, at least it is for me, and even stop altogether. Now, I know a lot of people who just kind of buy whatever interests them at the time, and I know that works for them. And I know others who kind of jump across asset classes, like right now, maybe their focus is on Bitcoin entirely. And I can even see that to a certain extent, but that's the kind of ADHD thing that'll get me off track personally, so, it kills my motivation. So I try to stay a little bit more focused and definitely a little bit more diversified. Now, I do want to continue picking up coins for the fun camp, but they come second. I should have that 1/2 ounce American Gold Eagle next week. It's going to be my first. Now, I was tempted to hold off buying for a few more days yet. This week has been a crazy one with prices going up and then back down. But since it was a 1/2 ounce, I figured, these swings are about $40 on spot price for an ounce, or it's a 1/2 ounce. So it's a $20 swing. I wasn't too worried about it. Now, the reason for this video is that a lot of people have been asking why I would choose the American Gold Eagles over a 24 karat gold coin, especially knowing that I'm not a particular fan of the coin's design. And that's where this video is coming from. Now, as you can see from what I've been putting on the table the last few videos, that I don't think that there's one single way to do this. It's not one way is the end all. And I'm definitely not here to just say one thing and then do something else entirely. Again, kind of 2 reasons for what I'm stacking here. So this is one of the very first topics that came up on the new Discord server, so I thought it was worth a video. The bottom line is that you can stack whatever you like, and as you can see, I do that from time to time too, but you should always think through what it would take to sell what you're buying and at least start out heavy in the easy to sell camp. It's pretty straightforward. And if you want to see what that Discord server is all about, I'll leave another invite link in the description. You can follow that, it'll take you right there and show you what to do. Still not exactly sure where that server is going to go, but I think there's a lot of potential there, so we're going to test it out. While you're here though, let me know what you think about Eagles in the comments. And then if you're from Canada or South Africa, UK or Australia, you have similar considerations with your own coins. Love to hear about that as well. And then while you're in the comments, if you found any of this useful, well, be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all that, and I appreciate you watching as well. So thank you again. Take care.